Found in the book of Genesis chapters 18 and 19, the story of Sodom and Gomorrah is one of the most well-known and controversial stories in the Old Testament. This narrative serves as a cautionary tale about divine judgment and the consequences of wickedness. The story began with God confiding in Abraham about his plan to investigate the sins of Sodom and Gomorrah. These cities, located in the Jordan River plain, were renowned for their depravity and sinfulness. God decided to send two angels, disguised as men, to assess the situation. Abraham, concerned for the fate of any righteous people who might have been living in these cities, negotiated with God. He asked if God would spare the cities if 50 righteous people were found there. God agreed. Abraham continued to bargain, eventually getting God to agree that he would not destroy the cities if even 10 righteous people could be found. But unfortunately, none were found to be righteous. The angels arrived in Sodom and were met by Abraham's nephew, Lot. Aware of the dangers that strangers faced in the city, Lot insisted that the angels stay at his house for the night. As evening fell, the men of Sodom surrounded Lot's house, demanding that he bring out his guests so they could know them, a euphemism often interpreted as a desire for sexual relations. Lot refused to hand over his guests, even offering his virgin daughters in their place, an action that has been the subject of much ethical debate among biblical scholars. The men of Sodom rejected this offer and threatened to treat Lot worse than they had planned to treat his guests. At this point, the angels revealed their true nature. They struck the men of Sodom with blindness and warned Lot to gather his family and flee the city, as its destruction was imminent. Lot hesitated, and the angels had to physically lead him, his wife, and his two daughters out of the city. The angels instructed them to flee to the mountains without looking back. As Lot's family escaped, God rained down burning sulphur on Sodom and Gomorrah, destroying the cities and all their inhabitants. Despite the warning, Lot's wife turned to look back at the destruction and was transformed into a pillar of salt. The story of Sodom and Gomorrah is a true depiction of God's punishment for wickedness. It highlights the sin of homosexuality and its evil nature in the eyes of God. However, the story also shows us God's patience with his people and how much he is willing to forgive those who are willing to turn from their wickedness and seek repentance.